It's time for another Dice Tower review with the Chief, Bart Brunchine.
Hey, it's the Chief from the Dice Tower. Today we're going to talk about a game called Fleet Admiral from Castle Games Inc. It handles 1 to 4 people, plays in about a half hour, and the only thing I can say again and again is it's an abstract, take your crew and your ship and go out and fulfill more abstract missions. Let's go in and look at that. Here we're looking at a human ship. I'm going to get into greater detail on that in a little bit. Around the corners, normally these aren't set up in this manner. These are the ships for the different races that you'll end up putting in this area, this frigate, when you upgrade. Everybody starts with a frigate of their type. Just real quickly, just to kind of show you, you've got the, and I'll not pronounce these right, Haragsh. You can see they're all like little almost stick figure type guys. The Jalrin and the Brerazin. The ships I'm going to show you real quick, just as you upgrade, you can see kind of what you're going through here. You can see the number goes up, and this little amount of crew they can have goes up, and there's a crisis token here. I'll get into that detail as I show you gameplay. Everybody starts with a number 1 level crewman, and then 2 cards from the component deck. The component deck just has one of 4 things: defense cards, sensor cards, power cards, weapons, and there's 3 of each type that'll go into your ship. Power slides in here, and kind of Glory to Rome style, you slide the card in underneath your player mat. And then you'll notice what you're really paying attention to here is this is a drive card, and it'll offer 1 square of power. Let me get the other one in under defense, and I'll zoom in so you can see them. All right, so you can see more of what I'm saying here, where you got the weapons. You got I think it's a beam weapon, this is a cannon, this is a missile, and they're all under the umbrella of the weapons area. Power is the lightning bolt, which you can see you'll have one here, and then you're going to have a drive, a nuclear engine, and a battery. And then as we slowly drift down, you have the same thing with sensors, which is targeting, tracking, science, and then defense, you've got armor, shields, and ECM. So on your ship, you're going to have a cargo area. This allows you to store cards for future use, and you can store the same amount as the ship. A turn is very simple. What you'll be doing is rolling this 8-sided die. A mission is made up of at least 2 segments. It can go to 3. So let's say I roll the die and I get a little crewman here. I'll actually take the top card off of this crew deck and I'll flip it in. Now the only thing you're going to want to pay attention to on this card at this point in time is this area I haven't covered up. For the crew cards, you're going to be paying attention to what's in the upper left corner. Later on, I'm going to show you a component card, and it'll be what's going to be in the upper right-hand corner. In order to pass this card, our frigate, our ship, which is only a frigate, the lowliest of all ships right now, must have at least 1 defensive element, and it must have a yellow shirt, or an orange shirt. Hello, they're on their yellow shirts. So on my ship, I have this little card here. You'll see that right here I needed this shield, and I have that shield. So I have passed that portion. If you remember, I had a Marine, which is a green shirt that I put in as a medical officer. So I do not have an orange shirt, but don't forget I have a captain. And my captain, she counts as any colored shirt. She's a wild card. So I've passed this first mission. Now this is a level 3 card. My frigate's only a 1, so I'm not going to be, normally you'll add crew into your ship. So your reward for passing a mission now becomes what the card is. So this is an orange shirt that's a level 3. Well, you can't add a level 3 unless my ship is a level 3, and I'm nowhere close. So what I'd have to do if I pass this is put this into my cargo area and use it to upgrade my ship. But don't forget, we're only partly done with this mission. So let's say I roll the die again, and this time I get a rocket, which is draw a component card. So now I've drawn this component card, and I ignore, again, everything on here, but in this case, what's in the upper right-hand corner. All right, and this means I have to have a science officer. It doesn't matter what color shirt, but they must be in the science section. Now, I only have one crew member, and I place that crew member in medical. So I can't pass this. I'll end up failing the entire mission and get no cards. However, once you go past your very first portion of the mission, I can get help from any other player at the table. So I look around, and one of the players has a science officer assigned. I ask them for help. They'll always come over and help. It's in their benefit because as soon as they help me, if we successfully pass the mission, they will get to take one of the cards involved in the mission, and they get first pick. But it's better than me failing the mission. Now that person could come over and we've automatically passed, and I can decide as the active player, hey, we're done. That's it for the mission. We're each going to get a card. In this case, if we're both frigates, we're both going to get to upgrade the ship. But we'll cover that in a second. But I could also roll the die for a third time and make it a 3-part mission. Now I've got to be careful, because if I roll this, even though we've passed the other phases of the mission, we're going to lose the entire mission. I could get really lucky and get the thumbs up. If I get the thumbs up, I get to choose which type of card I want, crew or component, and it's an automatic pass. Or simply what we've already done, I could get a rocket or a crewman, and then I would have to draw that card, and we would have to be able to match the symbols. Let's say I got a crewman. I would have to have another orange shirt and sensors. Now my partner that came over and helped me with science, he or she could also help me in this area. So their captain might be able to come in, or maybe they've got an orange shirt on their ship. I wouldn't be able to use the orange shirt if they were an orange shirt that was in science. At this point, with a level 1 ship or a level 1 crew member, you could use them for the science or for the crewman, but not both. Let me beef up a ship and kind of show you a little bit of what a ship would look like further on in the game. All right, I've beefed my ship up to a battleship. I've got a number 3, so it means all my crew members can be a number 3. They can be a 1 or a 2, that's fine too. I can now hold 4 crew members, so you can see I've added in a blue shirt navigator who's a level 2. I've still got my Marine medical officer, and I've got a number 2 level engineer, and I've got a number 2 orange shirt science member. Something else to point out, since I have a human captain, a human ship, if I have a human crew member or crew members of my race, depending on whatever race you are, if you're matching your race with your type of ship that you have, you actually get a bonus. And so this human guy would actually be a component 3, which is a nice little deal because it's going to allow him to be used multiple times for science or as an orange shirt. But you're going to notice I've got one of each of the 3 types of weapons. So I've got a missile, I've got a cannon, and I've got a beam weapon. Now they're of different strengths, a 2, a 3, and a 1. But it doesn't matter as long as I have enough. So let's say I have to pass a mission that comes out, and I've got my current ship. I've got 2 power. I'm actually missing my batteries. I don't have batteries on this ship. I have no sensors at all. I could really use some sensors. And I have 2 of my defense weapons. I have some ECM and some armor. I don't have the shield card. And they're of different strengths. The final thing is also to notice when you upgrade to a battleship, that is the first time you get to see that it has what is a crisis little token on it. And that means there's going to be a crisis that you're going to go out and try to solve or stop. It's done very abstractly. Basically, on my turn, every time at the beginning of my turn, a crisis token is going to go into a shared pool in the center of the board. Anybody else that has a battleship or higher, every card above a battleship, dreadnoughts, whatever, they all have the crisis chip, and you got to add it in. The goal to win the game is the first person to collect 10 crisis chits. Here's the rub on how this works. Before you can start quasi-attacking the crisis chits, and I'll explain how you attack them in a second, the pool has to build to double the amount of players that are playing. So very simple, 2 people are playing, you gotta have at least 4 chits. So the pool grows a little bit just to show you the crisis is there. And as soon as it's reached that level, now on your turn, if you win a mission, instead of putting one of these cards onto your ship or even saving it on your cargo, you can discard a card that you've just won. And if you discard 2 cards, let's say you had a real good mission, you discarded 2 of them, you didn't share it with anybody, you can then collect 2 chits and put it on your ship. The same goes that if you get 4 times the amount of chit tokens in the pool, then cooperatively everybody loses at the table. So you can't let these chits stack up because you'll lose, so everybody starts trying to tackle them. Chits only get added into the pool if it's a player's turn and they have the marker, but players can only attack and collect those same little chit tokens if they have a ship that's strong enough. So I played a game where I had a frigate and I was having a heck of a time leveling up, and everybody started collecting these little crisis tokens, and I kind of was sitting on the sidelines. So I was like their little water boy. All right, we're back. The things I love about this, it's light. As long as you don't have anybody that wants to take it too serious, you'll find it enjoyable, and here's why I think you'll find that part enjoyable. I like taking a ship. I like to go try and survive missions. There's a slight co-op. It's very slight co-op here, as you saw, but it's there. And I've always enjoyed the fact of getting crew on a ship and then tricking that ship out and eventually upgrading it. Now, I will say this is so abstract, it's barely there for me. It's there, but it's barely there for me. And it's so luck-based. Every time I've played this, I think every time but once I played this, I could not survive or be successful in the early missions. And then you're like the little stepbrother that's tagging along to the movies or something. That's what this ends up kind of being. If it was 10 minutes, that'd be cool, but it's about 30. So I still like it. I'll pull it out. I bring it to my board game meetings because people love to try it, and it is only 30 minutes, and it's light, and it does have that Star Trek-y kind of theme to it with the green shirts and the blue shirts do this, and then you can add sensors and shields and beam weapons. Just know what you're going into. Abstract and chaotically random. Please, if they do a reprint of this, add in just a few more things that will make it a little bit more strategic. If it just had a touch more strategicness to it, I think this might hit the table all the time. Just a touch. Other than that, give it a try. Company out of Canada. See you guys. Chief. Everybody playing the game loses if the pool of chit that is, that sounded bad. Everybody will lose if your chit pool, goodness, that's horrible.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.